everybody, welcome back to episode 5. Today we're going to go over microphones. I got a bunch of different microphones that I've been collecting over the years and just wanted to quickly run them down and what I'm using them for. So here we go. First microphone in the list, I've got the Avantone CV12. It is a great tube mic. I use it for kind of softer vocals or as an effect. You can get the tube to kind of break up. It's almost like you can make it almost like a distortion circuit if you push it hard enough. This is a B stock, so I'm not exactly sure what that means. I bought it on Sweetwater for, like $350. It was on sale as a B stock. I really don't even know what that means to be a B stock. I'm not sure if that means that there was something that went wrong with the build of it, and so they sold it as is. For people like me that want to use it as an effect, it still works great. Or if that means something else, if someone knows what that means, will you let me know in the comments. Anyway, the CV12 is a great mic. I think Norah Jones, I think of people like Norah Jones. I would be very surprised if she's not using tube mic for her voice, just to kind of give it a little bit of warmth and character. Great. If you have a vocalist that is screaming or might like some sort of distorted kind of sound on their voice, that is a tube saturated distortion, and not like a clipping digital distortion, this is a good option. It's kind of cool for character. If you drive it pretty hard, you can use it to spice up vocals. So if you run two separate microphones at the same time in front of a vocalist, you could push one of them really hard and then layer that in over top of the other one during parts in a mix that it becomes super dense. And it just gives it a little bit more lift in a mix. So that's the reason why I bought that mic. I really like it. I wouldn't say I use it on everything. None of the mics that I have, would I say that I would just use them on everything forever. I do have some mics though that pretty well stay put, like the mics on my drum kit, mics when I'm singing live, room mics. There's certain things that I use that are application specific, and it's what I have for that application. So I have a mic kit that goes on my PDP Concept. It's the 7-piece. So the kits that they sell for these mic kits, there wasn't one that really fit my kit perfectly because it's 7-piece. So I had to buy a couple of extras. The kit comes with a PG57, which is kind of the footprint of an SM57. It comes with 3 PG56 mics that you would mount on your 3 toms in a standard 5-piece kit, and it comes with 1 PG52. So on top of that, I added 2 more PG52s. It's a supercardioid dynamic mic, so when it's closely underneath, like my ride cymbal, for example, or just my China, which is over top of my largest tom, it just helps a little more with rejection, and I wanted something that was a little bigger to pick up some of that low-end frequency from those two. And love them. Love this mic kit. It's great. I would say probably the most important thing, maybe I mentioned this in another video, is that you buy a good piece of gear that sounds good. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to break your bank in order to get something that sounds good. You should just play around with things until you find something that speaks to you, something that sounds good in the room. There's deficiencies and inefficiencies in manufacturing. Even though they use stuff that is machined, they can get it very close. It's still not exactly the same, and there are things that just when you're cutting pieces of wood and laminate them together, some things just kind of speak better than others. That's been my experience anyway. So the drum kit that I have, I absolutely love it. I had a friend that owned the 5-piece. It was, I don't know if it's a concept that he owned, but but essentially he had one that was very similar to this one, and he would come over and track at my house from time to time, and I just absolutely loved how it sounded. It sounded awesome live in the room, and so we discussed it, and he said he was happy with the kit, and so I ended up buying one. This thing just sounds amazing. It took me a little while to learn how to tune it, but once I got it tuned, everything just sounds rad through it. I mean, the microphones are just there, kind of like cameras picking up the image. You know, they're just grabbing the sound that's already coming off of them. So once you get a good sound source, I wouldn't say the microphone doesn't matter, but you know, it becomes less important, you know, than like a good sound source. So start there. Um, the mics that I have on this drum kit, I have one of the PG52s is inside right next to the beater head. I have the 56s like around the toms, the rack toms. I have my SM7, or sorry, my SM57, which is another mic that I own two of those. So I replaced the SM or the PG57 that comes in the kit with my SM57 because the footprint of that mic is just a little wider, and I'm sandwiching it right down between my 8-inch tom and my 10-inch tom, and so it was just making those split a little bit more than I wanted them to. I wanted to bring them close together so that, you know, the mic was really out of the way of a drummer, and could be in the right position, kind of give me some room with stands and just different things. And I didn't want to clip anything to the snare. I like having it over top of the snare rather than clip to it. So I have those, and then like I said, the 56s are on the toms, and then my floor toms have the other two PG52s. Above my drum kit, I have MXL 840 matched pair, and they're just pencil condensers. They're great mics. You know, I think I bought them for like $100 or something like that. I don't even think they sell them anymore, but if you find them, they're a really good mic. I've had zero problems with them. They're really clean, bright. They take EQ pretty well, so you know, they're good for what I use them for. And then I have out in front of the drum kit, about 5 feet out in front of the drum kit, I have a mid-side configuration of ribbon mics, which are the Golden Age R2 MK2, and these are passive ribbons. These ribbons are boosted by the MB2 from Coda Music. This is a clean boost that is driven by 48 volt phantom power. You are able to maybe not drive your preamp and cause the noise floor to come up so drastically that, you know, you're hearing that in your recordings. These are great microphones. They're pretty dark. I got them for pretty cheap also. They were my first entry into ribbon mics, and I really like them. I think that they're a great mic. It's a super good utility. And then next on my drum kit, the next thing that I do is I take a microphone and I stick it in the room that's adjacent to this one. It's kind of my kids' playroom. My kids are grown up to the point now where they don't really have a playroom, but they hang out and listen to music with friends and cousins, and I've got a projector and stuff on the wall. And so I just take my Sterling Audio ST79, I put it in Omni mode, and I face it, you know, kind of close to the wall. It's about a foot or two away from the wall. And the whole goal from that is to just get some of the, you know, wash from bouncing off from all the different walls, you know, into another room. And it just makes the mix sound even bigger. So when I'm trying to get my drums to sound as big as possible, I use a combination of the overheads, that big room, and these ribbon mics that sit in front of my drum kit a few feet. So that's essentially what I've got around the kit, and what I'm using each one of those for. The last thing on the drum kit, I have a kick out mic, which is a Sterling Audio ST55. Picked that up for like $50. you know, their stuff's out there. It's really cheap, and you know, it's just kind of served the purpose of doing all the little things that I'm doing with it. So I roll off on my EQs in my studio. I throw like a console EQ plug-in up that's kind of like a Neve style 1073 preamp with EQ, and I just roll all the high end off of that, because the kick out, I'm essentially not looking for any high end. I'm just looking for the woomph, you know, just the body and you know, some of that low end information. Like I said, I have two SM57s. One of them I'm using, the other one is just in a drawer. I have two Audix i5s. I bought those as an option for the snare. My buddy, you know, sold them to me for a really good deal, and just decided to give them a try, just as something different. I would say the difference between the Audix i5 and the 57 is the i5 has kind of a mid scoop that's there, and the high end is not super crispy and fizzy or anything like that, so it kind of rolls off pleasingly, and the high end a little bit faster than an SM57 does. It's a great mic. Lots of people use it for recording drums and recording the snare. So great mic. I've got two of those. I'm not really using them at the moment, but they're great for vocals. They're great for certain applications for guitar cabinet miking, things like that. So I have, like I said before in other videos, I've got two of my ST170 ribbon mics. Those are active mics. And so you don't need a preamp boost like the Coda Music that I'm using, or you know, someone would use like a Cloudlifter. These come already with a preamp built into them. So on the ST170s, you would actually send phantom power down to the ribbon mic and power the ribbon mic, and it boosts itself. And these are really great mics. Super good deal on them right now if they're still available. You know, I'm not sure what's going on with Guitar Center, if they're just closing out their position with Sterling, or if Sterling's going under. I don't really know any of the details, but all of their stuff is coming, you know, out of there for super cheap. The 170s I got for like 75 bucks. I got a pair of 131s that I showcased in my last video. I showed one of them anyway. Mainly the reason why I bought those mics is they were like 35 bucks, and so I was figured, hey, FET condenser mic that is end addressed, similar to the MXL 840s. If I don't know how to point while I'm doing video, but like an end address similar to those pencil condensers, so I can put them right up against my guitar, or a guitar cabinet, or just anything that I need to face the mic at something and not have it take like you know, such a big footprint in front of somebody. Spot miking is really great. Next mic I have is the Warm Audio W87, and love this mic. Got this mic for like 400 bucks here locally. A guy was selling it used. It went on the market for like maybe like 2 or 3 hours before I saw it, and I called the guy and just went and met him and grabbed it from him. I've had it for a year or so, and I just absolutely love the mic. It's such a great mic, really clear, and it just feels like, you know, you're right there next to the vocal. So lots of clarity in it, and I really like that mic. It's one of my favorite that I've ever bought. And then next in the lineup, I've got from Blue, is a brand that I believe has gone out of business. I think that they were bought by either Fender or Logitech or somebody like that, and then basically the company just died on them. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that, because Blue, I just love their microphones. They are great mics. They hold up. They're really, really robust mics. I've owned a couple of different mics. So I have the Baby Bottle right now. It was one of the first mics I ever bought. Awesome mic. and it's great for, you know, male vocals. It's really good on guitar cabinets. You can use it for a whole bunch of different things, and it's just really a good mic. It doesn't have a ton of like crispy high end. It rolls off a little faster, and so, you know, it's a good mic for things that are kind of mid range focused. Next mic that I have is the Blueberry mic from Blue also, and this mic is kind of taking the position of the vocal mic, you know, in Blue's lineup, and it essentially has like a 15K bump in the audio spectrum, and it's kind of brighter, and I really like it on my voice. I think it's a great mic. So when I record my vocals from time to time, I'll use that 87. I'll use this Blue mic, the Blueberry mic. I really love those two mics a lot. I have a Shure SM58. That mic has been my utility mic for live vocals when I'm jamming with friends for 20 some odd years. I mean, it's just held up, and I've owned that thing, you know, almost my whole music career. Since I bought my very first thing, I think that was the very first mic that I ever bought. So great mic. It just kind of self noise is a lot better than a 57, and it rejects a lot of loud ambient information. You've got like a loud stage or something like that, or in my case, I have a very small room and a gigantic PA. I needed something that was going to kind of help me reject some of that big sound and not feed back quite so heavily like my 57s would in that application. I have a Shure SM7B. Love this mic. Bought it for its steel. Guy was selling it for like $200. There's some knockoffs that are going around right now. China is selling, you know, making and selling these knockoffs that look really good. So when I first bought it, I was kind of worried that I had bought, you know, one of these knockoffs. But after using it for a little bit, I was like, man, I like how it sounds, so I don't really care if it's a knockoff. That being said, I do have a friend who for sure has a real one. He works for a bigger music manufacturer, so he got it direct from the manufacturer. So we brought them in and A/B'd them, and they're basically exactly the same. So neither one of us could actually tell what the difference was between those two. So if it is a Chinese remanufacturer or clone or copy or whatever that's branded as a Shure, they did a freaking awesome job at it. And I would say Shure, you should probably be scared, because they're selling those mics. If that one is one of them that's a cheap, you know, knockoff, you should be scared because it's good. And you know, they're a lot less money. The next thing that I have in my lineup is the M Audio Nova condensers. M Audio is another one of those companies that I think has gone out of business, and or at least I haven't seen their stuff sold in years. But these microphones were really inexpensive, and I'm using them essentially for live jamming applications. So if my buddies come over, I got a guy in this room playing on the drums, and all of his mics are picking up his stuff. And then in another room, I've got me and another buddy playing. My buddy plays bass, and then I play guitar and sing. And we're just using those microphones to pick up some of the room sound from us in that other room. And that's a recording technique that I've been messing with for the last little while, and I just absolutely love it. I think it works so phenomenally well to breathe life back into the mix. If you're doing a close mic, or if you have a direct out off of something like that, you can blend your room sound in with your direct sound, and it just breathes a lot of life back into the situation. It turns out really good. So those are the mics that I'm running right now. I'm certain I'm going to buy more. I have a wish list in my Sweetwater account that's like a mile long of all the freaking gear that I would love to get. You know, and someday I'll just continue. I mean, over time, I'm going to just continue to hack away at that list and buy things as I can. I don't make money off of my studio. I do this stuff for fun. It's just a passion of mine. It's a hobby, and I would love to do it more professionally at some point in my life. It would be awesome if, you know, that became more of a job for me, because I am so passionate about music. It is very addictive in my opinion, and it's like one of the best addictions you can have, aside from it will leave you penniless. It's probably, I don't know what other hobbies are like that are, you know, like this, but maybe you could compare it to heroin, because it'll just rob you of all of your money. So don't do heroin or drugs. They're bad. But yeah, so anyways, love this stuff, love all of this gear. I'm super stoked to be fortunate enough to be able to own it, and you know, change things out and try new things. And you know, as time goes on, you guys will see some of the new stuff that I buy, and these are a couple of the things that I'm able to run around with and utilize. And if there's anything in particular that you guys would like to see me record, or a specific way to go about recording something, like say for example, if you want me to try different microphones, maybe not doing any audio processing, and try and put them on a similar sound source. Say like, you know, if you wanted me to try out a few different microphones on a guitar cabinet, you know, or just something like that, let me know in the comments. Appreciate you watching. If you like what you're seeing, just like and subscribe, and if not, then have a good one.